Hello and welcome to another Peteman Reviews. Today we have the unique toys robot, Violence. As you can see, he's based on the Transformers Generation 1 Predacon Rampage. Here he is in Panther mode, or Puma mode. It could be either or. As you can see, Rampage is highly articulate, or rather, as you can see if I hold it down there, highly articulate. He features by far the most manoeuvrable of all the legs. I guess that's fairly needed, given that it says, for example, that Rampage is always in motion, always moving. You need the physique to be able to cope with that. It's one of the smaller of the four-legged creatures. I mean, you think of how large Razorclaw is, for example. Rampage is somewhat smaller than that. That said, he's by far the most poseable as well, so I think the trade-off is worth it. In terms of transformation, Rampage is fairly similar to some of the early ones we saw with Ironhead, and so that was Headstrong for those of you who haven't seen the clip, and also for Savage Bull or Tantrum. It's a bit easier than those guys to transform, and that's a good thing. If you've seen those clips, you will see I found them a little bit tricky to transform, so this is always a good thing. So in terms of do, we always start with the legs first. Similar to most of the unique toys range here, he's got his legs here, which really are quite easy to change because they go like that. You can see it's ball joints, so in the event you just do what I do and you've pulled it too hard, it pops back on. Not a problem at all there. And that's that. Tail just folds back in like that, round again, and then up like that, and that's out of the way. The actual feet are here, so these are slightly different in that the others are all on the other side. These are on the bottom, come out, legs pull down, like that. So that's his feet done. Rampage's head isn't actually stored in here like the other ones. You have to pull this down. As you can see, the head's in here, so this flips up, that goes back. Now the head then rotates down. You see you've got a complicated little arrangement here, and that just needs to flip again, and there we are. So his head does stick out on his chest. It does look a bit odd, to be perfectly honest. Again, it is what the G1 character originally had, but it still looks a little bit weird. Arms. Now, as you can see here, his hands are in his side, so you just need to flip those around. Now, the way to do that is this top part here opens like that, and then that flips around like that. It closes, and then you just want to flip his arm round like that. And then you've got the gun which sticks out like that, and that way his arm's out of the way. Same again on this side. So what you have here is this part here. If I hold it in such a way that you can see what I'm doing, always helps. Flips up, open, that flips out, around, flips back down, and then that bend is like that. Oh, that rotates that way. I didn't realise I was holding him back to front. And there we are. Rampage is now transformed. Quite an easy transformation, and again, considering some of the other ones, it's a welcome relief. Rampage comes with an accessory, so a sword. As you can see, this is the standard red, black and gold, which works really well with this character. The red and the orange look really good on him. Gives him very much a samurai feel. And his gun, so you either have the gun shortened like that, or you can have it extended to make it more of a sniper rifle. We'll just put the shortened version on. And there we have it. Rampage's robot. As expected with third-party toys, he's got good manoeuvrability, excellent manoeuvrability on his waist. The legs, the sword falls out even as well, good manoeuvrability. The legs all move, arms all move too. So it's really top-notch for that. It's the kind of poses that we could only dream about in the Generation 1 toys when they first came out. You had to use so much of those to your imagination, whereas here they actually have it. The effect here looks really good, and his head doesn't look out of place at all. When I say his head, I mean his head on his chest, the Puma head. When you turn it that way, It looks silly, but have it head on, and then it doesn't matter. In keeping with the overall feel of the Predacons, he looks like a samurai warrior, and you just feel that he looks more deadly than some of the other guys we've seen too. So we'll compare him to our trusty Generation 1 Prowl and our trusty Generation 1 Thundercracker. Now, Rampage is slightly smaller than some of the other Predacons. He still feels a really good comparison with these guys, particularly with Thundercracker. Prowl, as I've said before, is quite short. That is the way his toy was, though. He did transform much shorter than the other guys. And Rampage is definitely in keeping with the scale here, which is really good to see as well. It fits in well with your collection. So there is one final mode to show on Rampage, and that is transforming him to Predacon mode. Now, Rampage is an arm, so he comes with another accessory, which is hand. As I've said before, the hand on Predaking is really detailed. I mean, it's just basically one big claw, but it has lots of individual movements. See, with the fingers, again, it's a level of articulation you could only imagine back in when Transformers first came out. It looks really spiky, and actually they do have a bit of a point to them. So you probably wouldn't want to let your kids play with something like this. Not if you didn't want them to come home crying after a little while. So we'll take away his sword and his gun because he won't need those. So excuse me. So to begin with, start with the feet. Feet go down. Feet go down. You're pretty much done here. All you now need to do is get the tail out of the way. So tail goes like that, and then it goes up, and it goes up again. The reason for this is because you want to expose this tab here and this tab here, as this is where the hand goes. So you've got a tab, and they just literally slots in. And then when we close the leg together, you want to make sure that the other tab is in alignment. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but that slots in. There you go. That's the hand sorted. Now, as for the head, we want to get rid of the head again. So that flips down, flips back up. That's like that. Arms, you don't want the arms, or the hands rather, because again, when he transforms to Predaking, he is just one arm, so it would look odd if Predaking had arms sprouting off that. He's not one structure after all. So there we are. So this is the business end, this ratchet. So that ratchet slots into Predaking. The head comes up, rotates this direction now, just sits like that. I suggest putting... It's alright if this pops out, because again it just pops back in. It's quite reassuring when they do that, because it does happen from time to time. What you now need to make sure is that the arms are out of the way, because the last thing you need is when you're transforming the guy, when he's in Predaking mode, is for these to be getting in the way. I suggest this is probably the best way of doing that. So as you can see, I've just rotated this back round the way it was, flip the arms up like that, and then the paws go like that. It gets them out of the way so that when you're hooking him into Razor Claw, you have a good connection there. Now you can put the legs up, or you can keep them out like this. I tend to prefer keeping them out like this because it gives that extra range of motion to Predaking's arms. It's also important to have this here because this is where the gun slots in. So what I'll do while we're here is we'll get the other guns that we had from Predaking. So if you've been watching the other ones, you'll have seen that we had a load of other guns. What I've now got to try and do is connect them all together for you. So I haven't done this too much before. So this is the final end. So you want to slot this. See, that's got a slot there. You probably can't see in the light. There we are. Slots in like that. Big barrel there. Actually, I've done that wrong. That slots into that. That slots into there. See? Right. Now, that and that correspond to this and this. So, very simple. It says. There we are, like that. And then you've got exactly the same on this side as well. Predaking's weapon, big, powerful, tough, just like Predaking. that then slots into that hole. So see that gap? You've got this long spike here. That slots into there. Gives you Predaking's arm gun. You don't really want to mess with that. And there we are. So that is everything we need to see for the final arm part of Predaking. Thank you very much for watching. Please do leave any comments below as ever. Click on the other links, and thank you again. Goodbye.